What is up, everybody? My name is Harry Rice. Welcome back to the channel. Today is a brand new live stream. Of course, the Montreal Canadiens played tonight in a game that, you know what, is better than the last two that we've played. There was some improvement. There was some actual excitement about the game. There was also still some fairly dirty plays that we are going to get to, of course, and we will get to the response from the Canadiens as a result. However, unfortunately, was still a loss, of course. As you can tell, I'm wearing the red jersey. If you somehow have made that connotation that red is for the loss and white is for the win, I'm surprised. Before we do kick things off, how we do things. Hey, Jack, how's it going, man? Thank you for coming by. Another day, another loss. Unfortunately, yes. Yoshi Bros, I wasn't even as glad for my team getting swept to the Blues. Oof. Oof, Yoshi Bros. Yeah, before we do get underway and how we do things, I'll say, before I get into what I want to talk about. How we do things is, or how I do things, I go through the lines for both teams. I do my little game summary, recap, analysis, whatever you want to call it. I go through the stats for the Canadiens, and then we get on out of here. Of course, I will answer any comments or questions you guys put in the chat, as always. However, before we do start, I do want to plug MCW Election Night is now 3 days away. Just like the real election, of course, we will be covering part of the American election. So yeah, Tuesday, November 5th, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. Highly recommend you come check it out. It's going to be live after the Habs recap. Of course, the Canadiens do play. That is our next game, actually. I believe it's the game against the Calgary Flames. Yeah. That's I believe the game against Calgary. Yeah, because it's game 12. Yeah, so game 13 against the Calgary Flames will be on Tuesday. So we're watching that game, of course. Well, we're watching that game, and then we're doing the recap live. And then at 11, I do have to be out because, again, on this channel, MCW Election Night, we've got a fantastic card so far. We've got Donald Trump taking on Kamala Harris in a 60-minute Iron Man match, Iron Person match, whatever you want to call it, an Iron Man match. Winner becomes the president. We've got an electoral battle royal, which if anyone has seen what a Royal Rumble is, then that's what we're doing. The winner gets an MCW World Title match against either Cosmo Kramer, the defending MCW World Champion, or the Big Mac. He comes in after having won a battle royal a few weeks back on Wednesday Night Kex. And the Super Mario Bros. Challenge, the Angry Grandpa and his son Michael Green, Pickle Boy, for the MCW John Cena Memorial Tag Team titles. Very, very fun, a card that we've got booked for Tuesday. So yeah, hopefully you guys come by and enjoy the game, because quite frankly, I think it's going to be a really fun pay-per-view. And again, I hope everybody comes by. We're going to talk, we're going to have fun. I do have to say, unfortunately, we were supposed to have a special guest on the stream on the pay-per-view. We were supposed to have someone stop by for guest commentary. However, unfortunately, they will not be coming by anymore. They have made plans of family, which is completely understandable. Of course, I get why, hey, I'm going to spend time with family over doing this weird little wrestling thing. I completely get it. I would probably do the same thing as well. So we do hope to have the special guest on at a future date, of course. But regardless of that unfortunate decision, I'm trying to sound like a dick, because I don't want to sound like a dick, because I don't mean to come off as a dick. I completely get it. Family is way more important. Family is number one. Shout out Vin Diesel and the Fast and Furious. But no, I completely get it. So unfortunately, despite us not having a guest commentator, it's still going to be a great show. It's still going to be fun. I hope you guys come by. Yeah. Also, if you do want to find out anything about the MCW before election night, now is basically your last chance. This is the last time I'm going to be telling anybody before Saturday, or before Tuesday. Sorry, we are Saturday. Before Tuesday, if you want to find more, if you want to watch the MCW, it's here on YouTube on the channel. Go to the channel, the playlist, and it should be the first one. I believe it's either MCW playlist or Meme Championship Wrestling. It's something like that. Or you can find us at memechampionshiprwrestling.fandom.com. We have we have our rosters, we have the results of every show so far. You guys can check it out there. Highly recommend it. It's a really, really great place to find. It's a really, really great place to find the MCW stats and the roster and the records and all that stuff. So yeah, please go check that out. Much greatly appreciated. All right, now with that being said, let's get into the game. Yoshi, you guys have the Wild tomorrow. Also, Clifford, how's it going, man? Thank you for coming by. That's what Leafs fans will be saying, too. Well, to be fair, the Leafs are supposed to be a cup contender, and they're just a failure. The Canadiens are in a rebuild right now, so honestly, a game like this being close until the empty netter, that's honestly a win for them, especially against the playoff team like Pittsburgh, who's, after this game, won 5 in a row, I believe, against the Canadiens, I think is what they said. And I think they're on a 3-game winning streak, I think. I know they beat Anaheim the other night. That was apparently a pretty fun game in overtime. They beat them. We got the Flames, Devils, and it's the Leafs on Saturday. Okay, so in other words, we're probably going to go 1-2. Well, technically 0-2 until Saturday, and then 1-2. Who would have thought we see... And who would I thought we see a division rivalry next Saturday night? Hey, that's gonna be fun, man. That's gonna be fun. How on earth do you think we can easily beat the Panthers when they're in the top? We all thought Florida would be a team. That was great. I did not think that the Leafs could beat the Panthers. I did not think that whatsoever. Don't put words in my mouth, brother. Yoshi, still can't get over the Habs fans booing our players. It's pretty goddamn funny, isn't it? I agree. All right. So let's get to the opening lines for the Canadiens, which were thrown into a goddamn blender after last game. Of course, last game destroyed by the Capitals 6-3 after getting manhandled by the Seattle Kraken 8-2. So the lines were thrown in a blender. Marty putting the guys through a workout after saying that we vomited all over ourselves in a really brilliant allegory, saying that it's not food poisoning, we put our fingers down our own throat. Basically saying, it's no one else's fault that we lost, it's our own. Great analogy by Marty St. Louis. This is why this guy's amazing. But the open lines for the Canadiens, heading into tonight, these would not stick whatsoever. Caulfield, Suzuki, Anderson, Newhook, Doc, Slavkovsky, Armia, Evans, Gallagher, and Heinemann, Dvorak, Kapanen, Matheson, Gooley, Hudson, Savard, and Jack Strobel on the blue line. Sam Montembeault would get the starting net for the Canadiens, and Caden Primo backs him up. Maybe get him the start on Tuesday? I don't know. Monty played pretty well overall tonight, I would say, so maybe they give it back to Monty. Maybe they want a 1-1. I don't know. I will say, by the end of the night, the lines, I believe, ended up being something like Caulfield, Suzuki, and Doc. I believe he was back on that line. I think it was Newhook and Slav, or I think it was Armia, Newhook, Slav. Evans and Gallagher, I think, were with Heinemann, and then it was Dvorak, Kapanen, and Anderson on the fourth. I know it was something like that. The lines got thrown out halfway through the game when we were down 2-0. Spoiler alert. The opening lines for the Penguins now were Malkin, Crosby, Raquel, that is Ricard, not, O'Connor, Eller, Pustonen, Bunting, Glass, Acciari, and Hayes of the Kevin variety, Lizotte, and Beauvillier, famous New York Islander, Grizzly, Letang, Pedersen, Carlson, and Graves, St. Ivany were on the blue line. Alex Nedeljkovic gets the start for the Penguins, and Joel Blomqvist continues to back him up as Jari is still in the AHL on a conditioning stint. Before the game, Jack Guy's back in, and Barron is out of the lineup, so that's a good thing. And also, I believe, I gotta look this up really quickly, I forgot to put it in my notes, but they mentioned it quite a few times, that, yes indeed, this is Crystal Tang's 1100th NHL game. He's not having a good year, he's only got 5 points and a -6 after tonight, but Crystal Tang was never a big plus-minus guy anyways. But yeah, so Crystal Tang, he is quite good. He's quite a gooded player. 1,100 games in the NHL. I want to say that's near the top. I want to say that's in the top 100, but I'm not 100% sure, honestly. Salty, how's it going, man? How's Slav this year? Aside from the fact that he got a headshot tonight from Ryan Graves, not Ryan Graves, Noel Acciari, he's been okay so far. I mean, he's not been the Slav, 100% the Slav that we got last year, but it's probably just a slow start. I think he'll pick it up in December, probably. I mean, here's the thing. We're one game into November. He could come out and over the next 5 games have 8 points. That could happen. But I think it'll be a slow pickup in November, and then December, he's back up and running. I mean, it would probably help if they put him on the top line again. I think that would probably help him at least a little bit. Blues got kiked by the Habs and the Sens, yet sweeping the Leafs is such a Leafs moment. I mean, not really, because the Habs are actually a good team, and they know how to beat the Blues, because they did it 3 straight years in the Cup Finals. But yeah. So yeah, Penguins get their first look 2 minutes in. There's a shot wide off of a turnover. Jack-Eye, after a whistle, he ends up clearing the front of a net. Bunting saw that it was Jack-Eye and goes the other way. I heard Matheson played like he was on meth. Yeah, Salty, yeah. He is basically the cause of the empty netter at the end of the game. I'm trying to be nice and saying basically, but no. He is the reason that the Penguins get their empty netter. He didn't have a fantastic game tonight. I thought that there were several moments where he could have and probably should have been put on the third line. Yeah, exactly. Lane bailed him out. He was basically the reason. Gave the puck right to the Penguins, and then Lane bailed him out. We'll get to that near the end of the game again, but yeah, no, Lane played really good defense, considering Matheson was his partner for a couple shifts. I honestly think I would not be surprised to see Matheson be the one that gets traded. I know that he has, I think it's 9 points in 12 games now, or 9 assists, I should say, in 12 games. He's decent in putting up the assists. Defensively, dude is trash. I don't get how he's still on the penalty kill tonight. I don't get how he's been on the penalty kill at all, honestly, as a Montreal Canadian. But, yeah. Matheson, I probably would like to see him be the guy that's traded. I know we wanted him gone at the deadline last year. It looks like he might be able to put up another 50, 60-point season, at least thus far into the year. He's on pace for about 60, 65, I believe. But, yeah. I would not mind seeing him be gone for a good defenseman. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. If we could somehow trade him back to Florida and get Brendan Montour, which is not going to happen, but if that somehow could, I would love that. I tried shots for the first time. Shit tasted like cough syrup. Yeah, dude, yeah, it'll, that's the taste of shots. Yeah. Depends on what shots you took, though. Because there's some where they can be sweet. The ones you tried seem like it's probably more liquor. Why am I saying liqueur? But no, that's what it seems like, at least to me. The shots are tied at 2-2, 5 minutes in. After a couple of the Habs chances, the shots were 2-1, and then the Habs end up getting shots, I should say. Evans line plays pretty well. They get some strips. They end up nearly setting something up, but there's good Penguins defense. I had a cinnamon toast one, and it was sort of better. I'm assuming you meant to say sort of bitter there. But if you did mean to say sort of better, I mean, that would kind of understand. Like, if it's supposed to taste like cinnamon toast, I kind of get that. That sounds like it could be good. But, no, I'll be honest, I've never heard of a cinnamon toast shot before. But it does sound kind of good, honestly. There's good Habs, Penguins defense, like I said, to break up the Evans line chances. The 4X line then gets some stick checks. They just aren't able to get shots. Jack-Eye gets called for a hold 9 minutes in. He had a good hit just moments before the penalty is called. You can still taste it, though? Oh, okay, so it's one of those, like, aftertaste kind of things. Oh, God, that... My apologies for that, my good sir. Penguins control for almost, sorry. I'm going off 6 hours of sleep, boys. I apologize. And the game did not help me for the first period. It was really boring. Are you supposed to drink it fast? Yeah, usually when you take a shot, you're not supposed to, like, sip it and then little sip or whatever. No, when you have a shot, depending on how how big the shot is, if it's just, like, in a little shot glass, then, yeah, just down it, suck it all back right away. But if it's, like, you know, kind of a bigger one, then, yeah, probably, like, go halfway, stop for a second, and then take the other half later. Because, well, at that point, you're basically getting 2 shots, so... Yeah, but if you get like a little, if you're having like a little shot glass, yeah, you're supposed to like down that right away. Down it all. Penguins control for almost the full 2 minutes, but there's no shots for them, unfortunately. Well, yeah, I'm saying this is trying to be non-biased, of course. They just kept missing wide. There were several chances. Crosby almost scored. Malkin had a couple looks. Just missed wide. Habs are 1-for-1 on the penalty kill, though, as a result. Habs do press after the penalty kill. There's a near 3-on-2, but a Jack-Eye pass is just out of reach for Suzuki. Was a good chance, though. There's no shots for either team for about 8 minutes. There was pressing. but just nothing. Penguins, though, finally get one from their fourth line. Jackeye nearly eats a headshot as a guy jumped into him. There's no call. Thankfully, Jackeye avoided it, like, just barely. It ended up clipping his shoulder slightly, I believe. Habs end up breaking up a scoring chance. Jackeye with a nice slapper. Suzuki ends up nearly bearing the rebound, but that does get held with 4 minutes left. Habs press one way. There's a good second line chance as Slavkovsky nearly puts one home on a nice dangle off of a Doc poke to him. And then back the other way, the Penguins score. It's Sidney Crosby because, of course, who else would it be? It's a bad turnover by Matheson. Sorry, I'm just going to take some of my water. My throat's a little sore. I was practicing a decent bit today, and then, of course, the game. Ooh. Yeah. Bad turnover, like I said, by Matheson. Raquel. I kind of hate how some fans are after St. Louis. Me too, Salty. I mean, I sort of get questioning him about Jackeye. I completely get that. If you have questions about St. Louis and his coaching style, I absolutely get that. I do in regards to Jackeye. You know how last game they have Tom Wilson, they have all these guys who are big hitters, and they scratch Jackeye. But then tonight, the Penguins, who really only have Noel Acciari who can hit, maybe Malkin, but he doesn't really do that. He's focused a lot more on his offensive game, and they put Jackeye back in. Like, I would my answer to myself would maybe be that they want him to focus more on his defense and his offense rather than just being the enforcer defenseman. But that's why he was in the AHL last year, was to work on his defense. But yeah, I have questions about that for sure. But to say, oh, Marty scratched Jackeye for 3 games out of 12 this year, he needs to be fired. I don't get that. The Canadiens don't have a great roster this year. Brendan Gallagher is playing well. He's a third-line talent. Josh Anderson was on the first line tonight, and he is a fourth-line talent. He's probably an AHL talent, honestly. The Kapanen and Heineman, they're both rookies. You're going to expect mistakes out of them. Christian Dvorak is an AHL guy, and he was playing third-line minutes to start the year. The biggest talent that the offense has, Caulfield, Suzuki, Slavkovsky, were all playing on the same line at one point. Now Slav is back on that second line to try and get good scoring from both lines, both top 6 lines, with Doc and Newhook, who probably caps as a third line center or winger does Newhook, I would think. Even on the blue line, it's still young, it's still inexperienced. Hudson, Gooley, Barron, Struble, there's another one I'm forgetting about. Gooley, Struble, Jackeye. Well, Mayu was there, but he just got sent down. But Mayu you can include because he played a handful of games. It's a very inexperienced blue line outside of Matheson and Savard. Now, if St. Louis was coaching the way he did with, say, the Florida Panthers, and they were 4-7-1, then yeah, obviously there'd be questions about how good his coaching really is. But this is a rebuilding team who's probably in the last year of their legit rebuild. And next year, at that point, it's... at this time next year, it should be, okay, how good can the Canadiens be? At this point, it should be starting to wonder at what point we turn it around, I would imagine. Marty is coaching a very young team. He's not coaching a team that is meant to be in the playoffs right now. Did I expect the Canadiens to be competitive this year? Yes. Playoffs, I said second wild card was probably their highest potential. Maybe first wild card if they got lucky. And yes, they still technically can. We're 12 games into the season. They go on a 3-game winning streak. They're back to 500. From there, okay, cool. It's a slight little climb. Marty is a really good coach. You can tell. He got Cole Caulfield going immediately. He's gotten Suzuki to basically a point per game center. He's gotten Slavkovsky into being a legit top 6 forward. He's resurrected Kirby Dach from the dead twice, it seems. He's gotten Lane Hudson to be a probable finalist for the Calder, if not the winner of it. This guy has done so much with the Canadiens. And here's the thing. If it was still Ducharme, Slav wouldn't be playing right now. He probably would be in his rookie season right now. Caulfield would be barely on the second, third line, probably. Suzuki would be a second-line center. If this were all Dominic Ducharme. The top line would more than likely be Brendan Gallagher, Josh Anderson, between Christian Dvorak. It honestly wouldn't surprise me if if that piece of shit did that. But with Marty, he understands who's playing well and who's not at any given point. He will punish Christian Dvorak if he keeps playing the way that he was. But he scored tonight. So he's probably staying in the lineup, you would imagine. Marty didn't, quote-unquote, punish Arbor Xhekaj. He sat him out because he was simply unhappy with the game that Xhekaj was playing. And I was too. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that, Xhekaj was doing Xhekaj things. No, he wasn't doing anything to start the year. Arbor Xhekaj had no points, he had no penalty minutes, he had no fights. He wasn't doing anything. He needed to be a healthy scratch. And since being a healthy scratch, when Marty put him back in the lineup, what do you know? Xhekaj's basically back to being Xhekaj. He almost fought Noel Acciari right at the end of the game. Spoilers. He's played pretty okay. Of course he had that turnover in Seattle, which was really ugly, yes. But aside from the few mistakes that he's made, which he's 23, he will make mistakes. He will make mistakes. Every defenseman is going to, regardless of age. It's just that when you're younger, you obviously will make more. Xhekaj is going to be a constant in the lineup, yes. Will he be a healthy scratch every now and then? More than likely. And quite frankly, it's to help him. Marty is not scratching Arbor Xhekaj because, I don't like how Arbor looked at me this morning. I'm going to scratch him. We're going to make the team purposefully worse. No. He knows that Xhekaj can be a better version of what he's given the team at that point in the season when he was scratched. He got scratched, he came back, and he has gotten better. Marty St. Louis works as a coach. Not working as a coach would be scratching Xhekaj for the 2 games, not telling him what he needs to fix, putting him back in the lineup, and letting him fail. That would be what a bad coach does. Marty, he's up front. He said that he told Xhekaj, you're not playing the way that we expect you to, the way that we know you can. You're going to sit out a couple games, come back, play the way we want you to. And he's been good since then. He can get better, definitely, but he's back to throwing the body. Again, he almost dropped the gloves with Noel Acciari tonight. He probably would have dropped the gloves with Tom Wilson last game if he wasn't a healthy scratch. Is that a small concern that we scratched him against a team with goons? Yeah, but we put him back in the lineup, and what do you know? They still ran after Slavkovsky. They still ran Gallagher. They still ran all these guys. Well, Noel Acciari did, I should say. He still ran Dvorak. So Xhekaj would have solved that on Thursday, 100%. Yes. But he will play the Capitals again. We will play the Rangers again this season. Xhekaj will have chances to get back at Tom Wilson, at Jacob Trouba. He will have these chances. Marty scratching him for not playing well at all isn't indicative of, he wants Arbor Xhekaj to fail. No. Marty knows that he's a fan favorite, and if he wants to stay in the lineup, he does need to keep performing. He's not just going to get a free pass because, Arbor, you're a fan favorite. Fans are going to be mad if I scratch you, so you got to stay in the lineup. No. With a guy like Doug Jarvis back in the 80s, okay, it made sense because he was literally creating history every game he stepped on the ice when he was the Iron Man. Every game he kept playing was literally history. Even if he wasn't that good at the end, he needed to keep playing. So he didn't want to look like the asshole who ended Doug Jarvis's Iron Man streak, and then some asshole ended up doing it anyways. So I don't believe he retired right away. I think he played some more games after he broke the Iron Man streak and ended up getting scratched or something. I forget if he got hurt or got scratched, but anyways. Marty is not going to ruin Arbor Xhekaj by, I didn't like the way he looked at me again, whatever. Marty is helping a guy like Xhekaj by scratching him and then putting him back in the lineup. He is helping these guys by being upfront about what he wants out of them. The type of practice that he gave them yesterday, I want to see more of that. I want to see more sandbag practices. I want to see more of that. I want this team to want to fight to stay in the playoff hunt. I want to see this team fight to be in games. like we basically did tonight. We almost came back down to win, or to tie it at the very least. It just didn't end up happening. We played a good game, I think. It was a much better game, considering what the two previous games offered. Marty is not at all a bad coach, and I do agree with you, Salty. I hate that some fans are going after him. It makes no logical sense, in my honest opinion. It makes no sense. Again, are there some questions you could have for Marty? Yeah, definitely. Should you be calling for his firing because of the start of the season we're having? No, not at all. That's idiotic, that's moronic, that's trying to rush a rebuild that, quite frankly, while it has been rushed, it's been in a good way thus far. At this point, don't force rush it. Let it happen naturally at this stage. If it takes another 2 years for us to get back into the playoffs, it'll be worth it because we will be a cup contender when all these guys are in their prime. Anyways, Penguins score, like I said. Sidney Crosby gets a puck from Carter Kell. He buries it. 1-0 Pens lead with 4:03 left in the period. Just a good top shelf shot that beats Montembeault. Caulfield then ends up almost tying it. Great puck control for him. He ends up going for a skate around the ice, or around the Penguins zone. Almost goes for a wraparound. Just can't find a good scoring chance, unfortunately. Tried to set up Suzuki. Back to Caulfield. They just couldn't find it. Penguins keep the top line, then hemmed in their own zone. They end up finally getting off with less than a minute left. And the shots are tied 5 apiece. 5 apiece, I should say. Penguins do lead after the first period. It's a 1-0 lead for them. Crosby gets stopped by Monty's pad 50 seconds in as the Pens press there. Penguins then with a flurry of chances. Montembeault with plenty of good saves early on. In 4 minutes of play, by the way, the Penguins equal their shots from the first period. So that's kind of fun. Penguins then try to press. Hudson has a bit of a bad pinch, and it's a 2-on-1. Good laydown by Savard to block a pass, and Monty makes a good save as a result. And the Habs then go to a power play. Puustinen gets called for a trip on Juraj Slafkovsky. Penguins looking good on the penalty kill as they get a shot. Penguins just can't get set up due to good puck stick placements by the Pens. Habs are 0-for-1 on the power play, but we then press shortly after. Dvorak ends up nearly bouncing one in off of Ned. I like that. Heineman gets fined by Evans, but that shot is just wide. Penguins top line pressing hard again. It was the first line and the fourth line that were really good for the Penguins tonight. For some reason, Crosby nearly got his second of the night. He has a really great fake at the line, thinking he's going to receive a pass, but lets it go through his legs to find Malkin instead. That ended up generating a chance after Doc's line nearly pressed. Zooks and Caulfield were then out there with Dvorak, so line changes going on. I put just, oh god. Of course, the Penguins do get some scoring chances with the top line out for both teams. Devo looked lost. As he was trying to defend, he just looked lost. Didn't know whether to lay down in front of a puck, didn't know whether to try to block a shot, stick check, forecheck, back check. He did not know what to do. Habs end up with a press. There's Andy to Kapanen on a nice break. Good chance, but he just loses it the last second. Almost got it 5-hole. Hudson, instead of going for a bobbling puck, just holds back, gets back there. Canadiens ended up with a little bit of momentum, and they'd go to a power play with 6 minutes left. Chris Letang gets called for a high stick on Yoel Armia. Canadiens try to press. There's the second unit out first. They get stopped. Not much for either unit. Penguins end up clearing. Habs are 0-for-2 on the power play. And 20 seconds about that after the power play ends, Savard is called for delay of game, puck over glass. That sucks. 3.5 left in the game. Devo gets a good shorthanded look, actually. That could have gone to Anderson, but he ends up taking the shot. That does get stopped. And god damn, after a whistle with the Penguins pressing on the power play, Bunting ends up poking at Monty. Boom, Jack-Eye just gives him a nice little spear. You love to see it. Jack-Eye's back to being Jack-Eye. No penalty on the play. That's fun. Canadiens kill pretty well, actually, until 6 seconds left. Who else? Sidney Crosby, the one guy in the NHL who owns the Canadiens. He gets a good wrister off a really nice Letang fake with Matheson the screen in front. Letang fakes it, makes Monty think that he's going to shoot. Pass it to Crosby, rifles it. Monty can't get over in time. 2-0 Penguins take the lead. We are 1-for-2 on the penalty kill tonight. In the final minute, the Penguins press again. Habs go the other way with .6. There's a face-off after the Penguins ice it. Offset face-off at the buzzer. Matheson just gives a right hook to Bunting, sends him down onto the ice. Nobody goes after Matheson. Like, nobody. There's a guy that's right behind Bunting as he gets punched who sees it and then just skates off the ice anyways. Yeah, so the Penguins have a 2-0 lead after the second period. The shots are 21-15 for the Penguins as well. Canadiens press early in the third. Jack-Eye has a nice hit. Game is getting a bit more up-tempo at this point, definitely. Caulfield ends up getting taken down in his own zone. The man who took him down goes to the bench. I believe that was Grzelcyk. He was seemingly hurt. I don't believe he would play the rest of the game. I did not hear his name once for the rest of the night. Habs top line presses. Suzuki has a shot off the rebound. Caulfield nearly buries it, puts it in midair. That would have been awesome. Did you guys know Jeff Petrie's dad was a baseball player? Who remembers that from back in the day? Jesus. There's a top line press, but then within transition, Habs score. They end up getting held out of the zone. Line change to come back in. Christian Dvorak, of all guys, gets his first of the year, so shout out to Dvorak for that. He buries his own rebound off of a good scoring chance. Heineman and Slavkovsky with the assist there. It is a 2-1 game. Dvorak just in the slot with the initial shot, and the rebound kind of slap on a sort of drive-by screen. Dvorak, not Puustinen, Nedeljkovic thinks he's going to the right, and nope, he goes to the left, buries it. It's 2-1 just like that. Canadiens are in it. We press for the tying goal almost immediately. Doc has a good shot. That's just wide. Habs get some momentum. The other way, though, Crosby on a near break. Gooley has a nice hit to take him down. Not vicious, just, a little shoulder checking. Crosby ends up going down. Pens fans wanted a penalty, of course. Dvorak then goes down courtesy of Acciari. He ended up getting right back up, giving Acciari a little cross-check. That was amongst a puck battle. Jack-Eye apparently had a word with Acciari as we then went to commercial. Habs really controlled this game in the third. The shots were 9-1 for the Canadiens with 9 minutes left. Habs press. There's a couple of hits for Slav as the Canadiens press, or as the Penguins press, I should say. I'll admit, slightly zoned out in terms of taking my notes, but I can tell you the Habs were playing well. They were keeping the puck in the Penguins zone. There's a good first line press again. Suzuki finds Caulfield, who tries to put it off of Ned with a kind of near bounce. Ballsy move from Caulfield. Respect there. Matheson holds a puck at a line, surprisingly, as we wanted the tie with 5 minutes left. Acciari then takes down Gallagher. He seems to have twisted his left knee in some way. He does that. Gallagher ends up going into the goalpost. Thankfully, it's not the 80s goalpost, so it came off very easily, and Gallagher was down for a second. He'd get up. He'd start chirping with Acciari. And, of course, Acciari wouldn't do anything because he's a pussy. Habs did get a scoring chance right beforehand. And then on the very next shift, I just put, wow. Slavkovsky gets a headshot from Acciari. Thankfully, it looked to be very minor. Slav wasn't down a long time. It wasn't like Tom Wilson on Justin Barron where he's clearly going for the headshot all the way. This is just, probably going for a shoulder check. Slav moves at the last instant and he gets the head. They do both go down. The refs blow the whistle. Slav holding his head, looks up. He holds it again a little bit. Thankfully would get up very quickly. Acciari got off shortly after. Slav went right to the back, obviously for concussion protocol. And then Acciari gets sent to the Penguins bench. Apparently if there's a player or players down when a whistle goes, because they believe it's injury, the player has to get off the ice. I mean, I get that for like Slav, because he probably would have gotten off anyways. But Acciari on the faceoff, and they tell him he has to get off the ice, and yeah, he does. There's no penalty as well on the headshot. The Habs are irate, and rightfully so. It should have been a 5 in a game. Even if it was incidental, you see that a lot where they don't mean to go for the head, they get the head, and it's a 5 in a game. So no head. Canadiens press with 3 minutes left for the tie game. Top line got some shots, but they just couldn't solve Ned at this point. There's an empty net with 2 minutes left. Habs press. Hudson gets a shot. Caulfield looks for one, as does Doc. Pens then nearly hit the empty net, but there's a puck battle behind the Habs net. Hudson, funny enough, had a really good look at it for his first in the NHL. shot just went off the post, so he was almost the reason the Canadiens tied the game. And then he was the reason the Penguins didn't go up further in the game, because he has a really nice whack on a puck just to keep it from going in. There's then a puck battle behind the net. That's when that happens. Habs get it in their own way. Or Habs get it in the Penguin zone. They press, and then the Penguins score. It's a horrible Matheson pass. Just at the blue line, just tries to get a little too fancy with a pass to Hudson. Gets intercepted. Hudson takes it away, bails him out. But there's a shitty offside call seconds later. Blake Lizotte makes it 3-1 Penguins with just about a minute left. There's like 50 seconds left. So the Penguins, the Habs keep it in the zone. Hey, Shamir, how's it going, man? Happy to see you in here, my good sir. So yeah, after the empty net, the Habs try just to get something. They don't. And at the final horn, here we go. Jack-Eye gives a little cross-check to Acciari. Doesn't realize it's Acciari for a second, and then sees the name, and he goes after him. The Penguins are immediately in there. Devo's in there. We get a full scrum. Struble ends up going at it with Graves. Shitty that the Sens are playing better than we are. I don't know if you can say that, Shamir. They're kind of the Ottawa Senators, so we know they're going to fall off this month. Actually, November is the month that they usually fall off anyway, so record-wise, they might be better than us, but they are definitely not a team with more respect than us. That much is true. Struble goes at it with Graves. While the ref is holding back Struble, Graves gives Struble some shots. They do drop the gloves after a minute. And, Struble ends up going down, not because of punches, just kind of a takedown. I will qualify it as a fight because I'm sure it did. And, Struble ends up down, unfortunately. Graves clearly afraid there. Crosby has Dvorak at a headlock. Jack-Eye feeding Acciari while the refs were separating them. I thought this isn't the end of it. Acciari wouldn't drop the gloves with Jack-Eye, especially after 4 incidents involving Canadiens players. I believe he took down Caulfield at one point. So this came to the end of it. You got to think if they play again this year, which it's interconference. I think they play 3 times this year. You'd have to imagine Jack-Eye's going to want Acciari again. If hitting the post counted goals, Hudson would be winning the Rocket Trophy by a mile. He would, Shamir. It feels like every game now, past 4 or 5 games, he's hit at least 1 post. Like, dude's gotten more confident. He's hitting the posts. He's going to get 1, and they're going to come. He's going to have a game. He gets 2 goals, and he's going to have 5 goals in his last 4 games at one point. He's going to play very, very well. Habs looking rough was at the college hockey in Michigan BU. 5-4 win OT for Michigan. Epic puck battle. Nice, Avi. Let's go. Was the Habs offense creating looks, or was the Pens goalie just went nuts snap? We were creating chances. It's just that we weren't getting a ton of screens in front, not a ton of tips. But we were getting good looks. But it wasn't necessarily that we got goalied, but Nedeljkovic was just good. He was just gooder than Montembeault. But no. Ned was good. Monty was good. We just couldn't score. That was really just all it came down to, is we just couldn't score. So the Penguins get the 3-1 win over the Canadiens. The final shots do end up being 26-24 for the Canadiens, so not a ton of shots in this game, but still enough. Enough shots from both teams in this game. So, yeah. And with that, boys, we are going to get to the stats and then work our way out of here. So if any of you guys got any comments or questions, put them in the chat. If you're new here and you're enjoying the content, hit the sub button. That's also appreciated. Pens are a tough team to lose to, but Snap Line needs to come and bring some juice. Oh, he will, Avi. I think he's only a couple weeks away from returning. It doesn't look like he's going to be out until December, January. It looks like he could probably be back by the end of November, which I'm really hoping that would be nice. But we'll see, of course. So Nick Suzuki leads the Canadiens again with 4 goals, 9 assists, 13 points. Caulfield's got 10 goals and assists, 11 points. Unfortunately, 4-game goal streak is broken today. Habs Flames next should be interesting. Got to win at home. Yes, indeed, Avi. Plus, as well, very spookily, the Canadiens' 13th game of the year against the Calgary Flames. Very weird. Mike Matheson has 9 assists. Yuri Slavkovsky with goals, 7 assists for 8 points. Lane Hudson's got 7 assists this year. Brendan Gallagher's got 4 goals and assists for 5 points. Jake Evans and Josh Anderson each with 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points. Kirby Docs got a goal, 4 assists for 5 points. Caden Gooley, Joel Armia, and Christian Dvorak each with a goal, 3 assists for 4 points. David Savard got... I don't know what the fuck I just did. David Savard's got 4 assists. Emil Heineman's got 2 goals and assists for 3 points. Logan Mailloux, who's back down in Laval, has a goal, 2 assists for 3 points. Alex Newhook has 2 goals. Once Laine's healthy enough to return, won't he spend some time in Laval for conditioning? Shamir, there's a possibility. I think that there could be that chance. That Laine just goes down for a couple games for conditioning. I mean, the Penguins are doing that right now with Jari. That's why he wasn't playing tonight, either the starter or the backup, because he's in the AHL for conditioning. So it wouldn't surprise me to see the Canadiens maybe do that, especially because before, when he's returned to the lineup for any teams that he's been with, he's never gone through that conditioning stint. It's always been, all right, you're back right in the lineup. So I honestly think that could actually help maybe this time, is sending Laine down just for a game or two, get him some conditioning, and then boom, come back up to the NHL. Especially because Laval, despite it being a really tough league, there's a lot of guys there who can protect Jack Eye. I don't know if we still protect Laine. Jack Eye. I don't know if we still have that McKay guy. No, I'm thinking of Randy McKay. Who's the McRae? McRee? Who's the... I hate who the dude is. I hate to say... or not I hate to say. I don't remember who the guy is. Not Andrew Shaw, obviously. No, fuck that piece of shit. He's a gay hater. I refuse to say homophobic. I think gay hater is a much funnier term to use for that. Is gay hater. Yo, what are you? I'm a gay hater. Like, it just sounds funnier than saying, oh, I'm a homophobe. That just makes it sound like, oh, like, it sounds like a toad. It almost sounds like a toad. But, Andrew Shaw is a gay hater. Fuck Andrew Shaw. Andrew Shaw, if you're ever watching this, I'm sad that no one skated over your neck when you were playing. How many power plays did the Habs get tonight? We got 2. And we looked good on one of them. The other one, not so much. I should have actually mentioned on the second one, the second unit... no, I think I did. The second unit actually started with Hudson, so... put Lane on the first unit. Yeah, I think we probably will at some point. I would imagine it's more so just probably getting him used to the NHL. I'd imagine in the next month or so, that's when we probably put him on the first power play unit. But I don't know. We'll see when it happens. But I'm hoping that it does happen within the next month. But I trust Marty with Lane's development. I trust him with most everything he does. So yeah, NZA. I hate to say it, but if we keep this up, St. Louis might not make it. No, like Shamir said, he's safe this year. I think there was expectations to improve a little bit. But keep in mind, without Laine, who would have been a top 6 guy, potentially even a first line guy, especially with Slav being put on the second line, Laine probably would have been on the first line more than likely. Harvey Pinard, he's a depth guy, third, fourth line guy. We're still missing a third line piece. And David Reinbacher, who could have cracked the lineup this year. I don't think he would have. But there's always that chance. We're out a top 6 forward, a top 4 defenseman, and a third line guy. That's not a little. It's not like we're out, Christian Dvorak and Josh Anderson, and that's all we're missing. No, we're missing, again, a top 6 guy, a third liner, and a top 4 defenseman, a potential top 4 defenseman. That's huge for this Canadiens team. That's a decent bit of your scoring, especially with Laine and potentially Harvey Pinard. So I completely get why Marty has kind of thrown everything into a blender, just kind of see what sticks. We're just trying to get guys scoring until Laine comes back and he puts up 30 goals. So I completely get why the Canadiens have not been as good as they probably could be. I honestly think the record could be reversed if at least Laine was healthy. Because we would have started the season off with a really big jump. Not just for Montembeau's first game shutout, but having Laine back, especially if he had scored in that first game, for example, we would have really rode that momentum, I think. And Marty St. Louis might just need an NHL coaching vet to be an assistant to help him out, not overshadow. Exactly, Shamir. Like, I think if he were to get, say... I was going to say Ted Nolan, but no, that's a bad example. I think if he were to get someone like, say, I can't even say Guy Boucher, because I think he actually is a head coach right now. But if you were to get someone like a Guy Boucher or someone like a Joe Quenneville. Not saying Joe Quenneville, but someone like a Quenneville who's been around, extremely experienced, probably wouldn't mind taking an assistant coaching job. Hell, you know what? Aside from the stuff in Chicago, I'd have zero issue with Montreal getting Quenneville. Or no, fuck, Quenneville's a GM, isn't he? No, Quenneville was the coach. It was, what's his face is the GM. I forget who. But yeah, no, I'm not crazy. Quenneville was the coach. Yeah, he was the coach, yeah. If Quenneville wouldn't mind taking, an assistant coaching job, I'd have zero issue with Montreal hiring him. Honestly, like I honestly wouldn't mind Coach Q in. Well, technically he'd be a Coach Q because he'd be assistant Coach Q. But if he wouldn't mind taking that assistant coaching job, we can handle the heat because it'll be on us for a week and then it'll go away. That we hired Joel Quenneville. Quenneville would be a fantastic coaching vet, like you said, to be an assistant. And hell, he'd even get some heat off Marty St. Louis probably for a little bit. I think he'd be a great guy to help mentor Marty. And here's the thing. Even when Quenneville was fired 2 years ago, at 64 years old, this guy was still a fantastic head coach. He had helped the Panthers. Like, okay, 35 wins and 37 wins. Not great. 21-22, before he got fired, 7-0-0. That was the year they won the President's Trophy. Coach Q clearly worked. You even look at the Blackhawks for, what, a decade? They were fantastic with Coach Q. He even had a short stint in Colorado, people forget. Consistent 40 wins. St. Louis even, before that last year where he got fired midway through the season. Or towards the end of the season, kind of near the deadline-ish. They were a good team. They just didn't do good in the playoffs because of the St. Louis Blues. Coach Q knows his way around winning franchises. So for me, wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me if the Canadiens get a guy like Coach Q as an assistant. Gilles Tremblay, apologies, I'm not going to try and pronounce your last name because I know I'm going to butcher it, but I know I can get Gilles Tremblay. It's going to be Guillermo. I guarantee it. I pronounce it right, it's going to be Guillermo or something like that. But Gilles Tremblay. Another where the refs dropped the ball. I can't say that. You got to score 3. It's a goaltender who is allowed 3 goals per game, and he's like an 890-something save percentage. You got to be able to score 3. You got to be able to score 3. I pronounced it all right? All right, thank you, Enzige. Because I know, like, Gilles Latendresse. It's Gilles. I know it's Gilles Latendresse, so I'm hoping I was pronouncing it all right. Again, watch. It's going to be like Gilles Latendresse, and I was pronouncing it wrong. But I'm pretty sure it's Gilles Latendresse. You see, that's why I didn't hate the Julian hire for the Blues, the assistant coach. Exactly, Darkness, exactly. And that's why at the time I didn't hate the Claude Julien hire either for the Canadiens when he was hired back with us, I should say. Because, again, that's a veteran guy, a Stanley Cup champion, a fantastic run with the Boston Bruins. That's why I really didn't mind him with the team. Aside from... Though, unfortunately, aside from that 40-win season where we still missed the playoffs and would have eliminated the Lightning, it just didn't go well, unfortunately. And actually, funny enough, I just realized that 16-17 season, we were second in the East. We hired Julian halfway, like, right at the end of that season, which is kind of weird. But yeah, Jack Adams winner, Claude Julien, I've got no issue, especially if he's just an assistant. Guillaume Latendresse. Yeah, it's Guillaume. So it's not Gilles. Guillaume Tremblay. Or is it Guillaume? Because I know G's are like kind of like J's. Is it Guillaume or Guillaume? Tell me if it's a G as in G or a Guillaume, like a J. I'm assuming it's Guillaume. So Guillaume. I'm learning French, boys, slowly. I've got Duolingo on my phone. I'm slowly learning French. Guy as in get. Okay, so Guillaume. All right, thank you, Control O2 Russia, I'm assuming that's Control O2 Russia. I'm assuming that's what the RU is short for, but thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Again, like I said, I'm slowly learning French. I'm sure Duolingo eventually gets names on there, so I'm hoping that's the case. New Hook, like I said, sorry, 2 goals. Jaden Strubl's got 2 assists. Justin Barron's got a goal. He is down. He is a healthy scratch tonight. And Oliver Kapanen has an assist. Mike Matheson, Josh Anderson, and Jaden Struble each with a fight this year. Sam Montembeault with the only shutout as well for the Canadiens so far. So yeah, that is going to do it for today's stream, you guys. Thank you all so much for watching. We have 10 viewers right now. I apologize, but my voice is going out slowly but surely. And I would like to be healthy for MCW election night because it's going to be fun. Again, we got 10 viewers here. MCW election night. You can go on the stream, there's the stream already technically up. It's already listed and ready. Hit the remind me button. You guys are not going to want to miss it. It's going to be a really fun stream. 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time after the Canadiens recap, of course, which of course will be happening like always. If you want to check out any of the MCW stuff I've done before, there's a playlist on the channel. That's also the most recent videos. Blah, blah, blah. You get that by now. So yeah. Again, guys, that is going to do it for today's stream. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share on everything, which includes, but is not limited to, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and everything else. My name is Hooray. Subscribe to join the HC Club, the Sub Hub, and the D Nation. If you are a member of the Mod Squad, thank you for running a constant stream. It is greatly appreciated. Links in the description. Check those out. Much appreciated. Again, my name is Hooray, and I am out. Always remember no matter how bad we were last year, how okay we are like this year. Go Habs, go baby. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Hooray again, and I am out. Love you guys. See you guys. Bye, guys. MCW election night this Tuesday. Check it out, boys. Hit the remind me on the stream. Please, don't miss it. I've put in way too much hard work and effort for this to just not get noticed all that much. Please, check it out, boys. Again, love you guys. See you guys. Bye, guys. Love you guys. See you guys. Bye, guys. Bye. Let's go. I'm going to wait till it gets to 52 minutes. I'm going to say I